I just want to keep it very simple. What's on the outside gets on the inside. And then it keeps stressing you from within until it is overcome. It keeps stressing you from within until it is overcome. It will stay forever until it is overcome. Christ said, he said, take heart, for I have overcome the world. See, talk about stress. People hated him. They spit on him. They beat him. They drove nails into him. They killed him. See, and a lot of other things they did too. Talk about stress. He overcame the world. He even overcame death. See, that's the bottom line of all stress, isn't it? You're stressed and stressed and stressed, and your life oozes out. You give your life to these things that stress you. You give your life to them. And finally, death is the bottom line. The last stress, and it makes its approach, and you yield to it as you yielded to everything else. Do you realize that when you become frustrated, when you become angry, something makes you resentful, some irritation, and then you give in to the irritation, and you wallow, you revel in it because it permits you to judge. It permits you to judge and hate the other person, or to feel sorry for yourself. Do you understand? Or you struggle with it. You struggle. But when you struggle, you actually only give it energy. You don't overcome it. Overcome. The stress, what was on the outside, gets on the inside. And it will continue to stress you until you overcome it. Now, how do you overcome it? You can't of yourself. Christ said, of myself I can do nothing. So your problem is that you either give it into it, which is what you usually do at the very end, right? You struggle and struggle and struggle and struggle, and finally you give into it, whatever it is. Whether it's becoming resentful, becoming angry, whether it's, you see, even a piece of pie or cake or, I don't know, some sugary drink that you get at, the coffee shop nowadays. You think of it, or candy, chocolate, anything, a cigarette, a marijuana. You think about it, and it stresses you from the inside, doesn't it? It's not it out there anymore. Now it's inside. And you give in a little bit to the idea, and then it takes a little energy and adds it, and then it gets stronger. Or you try to struggle with it. But you know what the bottom line is going to be, don't you? It's always the same. You struggle and struggle and struggle until finally you give in. And then you make an excuse, or you say, this is the last time. So it's always that way. It's that way with everything. So can you see, have you had enough experience now with struggling with things to see that giving in is not the answer, but struggling is not the answer either? Because you always end up giving it more strength, and you become weaker, and finally you give, and then you feel terrible about yourself, don't you? The same with all addictions, even with compulsions, pornography, you name it. See, alcohol, you name it. Working too much, not being able to say no. See, people know that if they ask you to do something, you become angry. Then you feel guilty. And then you give in. See? You give in and 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 appease, and your life ebbs away. So what's on the outside? If you don't deal with what's on the outside properly, and how do you do that? Well, you don't become upset in the first place. You don't become angry in the first place. You stand back and watch it with a little mental distance. You watch it and let it pass. See? To be in the world, but not of the world. You see, you have to, that's why you should get my meditation. So you can have a little mental distance. Stand back, and there it is. It's teasing. See? You let it pass. And you have to do the same thing when it gets inside. Whatever it's doing inside, in your mind or in your members, it's teasing, isn't it? But it has power now. It has some control over your emotions. So emotion rises. The image is there, haunting, intruding. It's an intruder. It's an unwelcome guest. You made it welcome, though, once upon a time, because you used it in some way, egotistically. But now there it is. You have to learn to do the same thing. Watch it. Let it pass. It may cause temporary, a little bit of pain, psychic pain. You'll feel like you're denying yourself something that you should have. Just watch it. Let it pass.